Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2013 preseason FCS Top 25. And there's many teams across the FCS landscape that are worthy of being on this list. But before we dive into the Top 25, let's take a look at some teams that are just on the outside looking in.
Let's first take a look at some surprise lurkers, which are teams that are just on the outside but will have a huge impact on the Top 25 before the year is done. 3 teams are in FBS transition mode this year. That's Georgia Southern, Appalachian State, and Old Dominion. Let's start with the Eagles, who will be the favorite for the SoCon title, but they're ineligible for that as well as the playoffs. That still shouldn't stop electric quarterback Jarek McKinnon from putting up some outstanding numbers this year once again. Appalachian State is in the same boat as Georgia Southern. Quarterback Jamal Jackson is an outstanding player, but they were dealt a huge blow recently as All-American wide receiver Sean Price was suspended. He'll miss the first game, and he's a big piece of their offense. When you look at Old Dominion, this is a squad that's led by the best dual-threat player in the FCS in quarterback Taylor Heineke. The Monarchs made some noise last year in the playoffs as they eye a move to Conference USA in 2014. Also, keep an eye on Lehigh. They lost a lot of production from last year's team, but you can't count out an Andy Cohen coach Mountain Hawk squad. This will be another tough football team this year in the Patriot League. Now, here are some teams that just missed our top 25, ranked 26 through 31. Jackson State down in the SWAC should put up some big numbers on offense, but I'm impressed with their linebacking core as they own the best core of backers in the SWAC. When you look at Butler, the Bulldogs are by far the best team in the Pioneer League, and now they have the automatic bid. Look for these guys to dominate in conference and make the playoffs. Jacksonville State is a team that's similar to Lehigh in the fact that you can't count these guys out. They will always be a factor within the conference. Former Rattlers great Earl Holmes is now the head coach down there at Florida A&M, and this is a guy that will turn around that defense, and we know the Rattlers already are explosive offensively. Quarterback Billy Rigon returns for what seems like his 15th year for the Penn Quakers, but all jokes aside, he's an outstanding quarterback that leads an explosive offense, and we know the Quakers will always be tough on the other side of the football. I like what the Liberty Flames bring to the table. You look at quarterback Josh Woodrum, who was an outstanding player last season for the Flames, freshman player of the year in the conference, and I think they could make some noise in the Big South this season. At number 25, I have the Colgate Raiders, and Colgate has one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the country in Gavin McCartan. This is a guy that can do damage on the ground as well as in the air, but they're going to need their defense to step up and play better this season in order to make some noise in the FCS playoffs. Checking in at number 24 is the Illinois State Redbirds, and defensively the Redbirds will be very good, led by football game plan All-American linebacker Colton Underwood, one of the best outside backers in the country. The Sacramento State Hornets are a tough team to match up against, and quarterback Garrett Safran is an outstanding player that leads an explosive offensive attack. If only the SWAC would allow a team to compete in the playoffs, the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions would be the representative. This is a dangerous football team led by head coach Monty Coleman, and they're stacked on the defensive side of football with 2 pro prospects in safety Ryan Shaw and linebacker Jerron Harris. At number 21, I have the Youngstown State Penguins. The bulk of their offense returns led by quarterback Kurt Hess. Defensively, they will continue to get better, but they have to find a way to replace outstanding running back Jermaine Cook. Despite the big losses on offense in Brodus and Williams, the Mustangs have a plug-and-play type of a system that you can put anybody in on offense and they'll be effective, but their defense is what will keep them competitive this season. The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina check in at number 19 in our top 25, and I love their defense, and it's that defense that could carry this football team while they're breaking in a new quarterback in Alex Ross. If quarterback Michael German is reinstated to this ball club, this is a very dangerous Tennessee State Tigers team. You look at that offense, tight end A.C. Leonard is an All-American candidate. Defensively, they're very tough, and there's still enough pieces on offense despite the losses of running back Travis Ward and up front with Rogers Gaines. At number 17, I have the Richmond Spiders, and keep an eye on the Spiders this season. I believe they'll be one of those dark horse teams to make a lot of noise come playoff time in December. The passing connection of quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo and wide receiver Eric Laura will continue to break records in the OVC, but keep an eye on the Panthers secondary. I think they may have one of the more underrated secondaries in all of the FCS. At number 15, I have the Montana Grizzlies. Last year was the anomaly. This year, the Grizz will be much better on defense and ready to compete in the Big Sky Conference. At number 14, we have the New Hampshire Wildcats. They're the model of consistency, 10 straight winning seasons for the Wildcats, and I love the potential of the receiving corps this season. For the Stony Brook Seawolves at number 13, losing Miguel Masonette won't hurt as much as they have Michael Coker in the backfield. Going from the Big South to the CAA shouldn't be a problem as well, but losing right tackle Michael Bamiro could be an issue up front as he was a stalwart at right tackle. Checking in at number 12, I have the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, and this may be head coach Brian Jenkins' best team and most talented Wildcat team as of yet, and they should be dominant in the MEAC this season. The Northern Arizona Lumberjacks were a playoff snub last year with an 8-3 record. The majority of that talent returns, and this year they're looking to finish the drill and get into the postseason. A team no one has been talking about this offseason has been the Northern Iowa Panthers. This is a well-balanced football team. I like this squad a lot, and they're led by the outstanding quarterback Sawyer Cole Morgan. At number 9, I have the Chattanooga Mocs, and defense wins championships, and the Mocs do have a championship caliber defense. Can the offense stabilize itself? I think they could be a dangerous team in the SoCon this year. Losing defensive players of the caliber of Frank Beltray and Jordan Dangerfield does hurt, but the Towson Tigers still have enough talent to be successful. Keep an eye on running back Terrence West to put up record numbers this year out of the backfield. It seems like the trio of Bell, Flanders, and Sincere have been there forever for Sam Houston State, which is why their offense will be one of the top ones in the FCS once again this year. But they lost a lot on defense, and that's something you want to keep an eye on this season as they try to make it back to a third straight national championship game appearance. Head coach Clint Conk is entering his 14th season at Central Arkansas, and he has an outstanding quarterback in Winrick Smothers that gives the Bears a chance each and every week. Cracking our top 5 is the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Running back Zach Zinner is one of the best backs in the country regardless of division, a guy that could put up 2,000 yards once again this season. At number 4, I have the Villanova Wildcats, a team that surprised a lot last year. Quarterback John Robertson leads an explosive offensive attack, and nose tackle Antoine Lewis has NFL potential. Keep an eye on the Wildcats this year as they can make a push for a national title out there in Philadelphia. Another team that can make a push for a national title would be Eastern Washington. That's why they check in at number 3 in our top 25. Defensively, they are still top tier, and they should be one of the FCS best. And quarterback Vernon Davis showed me a lot last year, looking for him to build on what he did last season. At number 2, we have the Montana State Bobcats, and they're armed with one of the best quarterbacks in the FCS in Denarius McGee, who's a Walter Payton candidate, and he leads an explosive offensive attack. Now, the question this year for the Bobcats, defensively, can they get it together? If they can, this would be a team that you can see at the end of December hoisting the championship trophy. And at number 1, it was a no-brainer. The North Dakota State Bison, a 2-time national championship team, returns practically intact. They're strong on both of the offensive side of football And on the defensive side, their offensive line is solid. Their back seven on D is outstanding. This is a tough football team regardless of division. No one wants to face the Bison week in, week out. They entered the season as our #1 team in the FCS.